Beginning. A job meant for no one important. My name is Cal Rowan, and I was never meant to matter. I wasn't a soldier or a diplomat or a scientist pushing the boundaries of known space. I was a surveyor, one of thousands employed by the Outer Systems Coalition to map dead zones, abandoned worlds, and regions deemed too unstable or insignificant for permanent settlement. It was quiet work, lonely work, safe most of the time, until it wasn't. The planet was designated Eris Theta, a shattered world caught in the gravitational tug-of-war between two dying stars. Long-range scans suggested ancient ruins and intermittent energy signatures, enough to justify a boots-on-ground assessment, not enough to send anyone important. So they sent me. My dropship descended through a bruised sky streaked with ionized clouds. The planet's surface was a graveyard of collapsed structures, vast, skeletal remains of a civilization long erased. Towers lay broken like snapped bones, half sunk into blackened soil. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the ruins, pulsing as if responding to my presence. That should have been my first warning. I sat down near what appeared to be a central complex, sealed my helmet, and began my scan routine. Radiation was elevated but survivable. Atmosphere thin, breathable. No active life signs detected. I believed the instruments. That was my second mistake. I had just reached the edge of the central plaza when the ground trembled beneath my boots. A deep, resonant vibration rolled through the ruins, followed by a sound that made my blood run cold. Something between a roar and a scream, echoing from deep within the shattered city. I froze. The scanners flared to life, suddenly overwhelmed with new data. Massive life form detected. Energy levels off the chart. Rapid approach. I turned slowly. She emerged from the shadows like a living weapon. She was tall, nearly twice my height, with a powerful, elongated frame encased in natural armor that shimmered like dark glass. Her skin reflected the ambient light in shifting hues of violet and crimson, etched with glowing lines that pulsed in time with her breath. Her eyes burned gold, fixed on me with predatory focus. An apex being. A queen, maybe. Definitely a killer. My rifle slipped from my fingers and clattered to the ground. I knew enough about first contact protocols to understand how badly this had gone. I raised my hands slowly, palms out, trying to project non-aggression. She advanced anyway. Each step cracked the stone beneath her feet. I braced myself for pain, for death. Instead, she stopped inches from me. Her claws hovered near my throat. And she spoke. "Why are you here?" Her voice reverberated inside my skull, bypassing my ears entirely. I was sent to survey, I said, amazed I could still speak. I didn't know anyone was alive. Her eyes narrowed. "Lies," she said. "Your kind does not come here by accident." "I swear," I said, heart pounding. I didn't even know this place had a name. For a long moment, she studied me. Then she did something I didn't expect. She lowered her claws. "You are afraid," she said. "Yes," I admitted, terrified. "Good," she replied. "That means you understand death." That was when I realized how close I had come. She could have killed me. Instead, she chose not to. Middle, the weight of mercy. Her name, I learned, was Valeth. She was the last living sovereign of the Kothari, an ancient species that once ruled dozens of systems. They were not conquerors by nature, but guardians, keepers of balance, wielders of technology so advanced it blurred the line between science and myth. And they were nearly extinct. The war took everything, Valeth told me as she led me through the ruins. Our enemies did not seek our worlds. They sought us. I followed at a careful distance, my senses overwhelmed by the scale of the devastation. Entire districts lay in ruin, as if the city itself had been systematically dismantled. "You could leave," she said suddenly. "Your ship still functions." "I could," I agreed. "But if I do, they'll send someone else. Someone less lucky." She glanced back at me. "Lucky is not the word I would use." "Alive, then." That earned a faint flicker of amusement from her, something dangerous beings rarely displayed. Over the following days, an uneasy truce formed between us. Valeth allowed me to continue my survey under her watchful eye. In return, I shared what little I knew of the current state of the galaxy. The Kothari were considered a myth now, a cautionary tale whispered among xenologists. A race too powerful, too independent, wiped out by a coalition of fearful neighbors. Valeth listened in silence. "They failed," she said at last. "They tried to erase us. And yet here I stand." "Alone," I said gently. Her gaze hardened. "Do not mistake solitude for weakness, human." I wouldn't dare. The truth was, I was beginning to understand her. Valeth was not a monster. She was a survivor, shaped by loss, hardened by betrayal. Every instinct she had screamed that I was a threat. And yet she had spared me. I wondered why. The answer came sooner than I expected. It happened on the 7th day. My scanners picked up a fleet dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, unmarked, heavily armed. Salvagers. Mercenaries. Worse. They had followed my signal. "They're coming for you," I said, panic rising. "For your technology." Valeth's expression darkened. "Then they will die." "You can't fight a fleet alone." "I have before." I believed her. But I also knew what that kind of victory would cost. "Let me help," I said. She laughed, a sharp, incredulous sound. "You? With what?" "Your fragile body and outdated weapons." "With a choice," I said. "The same one you gave me." She studied me intently. "You would risk yourself for me," she said slowly. "After knowing what I am capable of." "Yes." "Why?" I thought of my empty quarters, my endless assignments, my quiet insignificance. "Because someone once spared me when they didn't have to," I said. "And it mattered." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she nodded. "Very well, Calrowan," she said. "Let us see what your choice is worth." The battle that should have ended me the mercenaries made planetfall within hours, deploying drones and heavy walkers across the ruins. Their intent was obvious: capture or kill anything of value. Valeth moved like a force of nature. She tore through their ranks with terrifying precision, her body glowing brighter with each strike. Energy shields flared and shattered. Steel folded like paper beneath her claws. And yet, for all her power, they were many. Too many. I worked the comms, jamming signals, rerouting targeting systems, using every trick I'd learned in a career spent avoiding danger rather than confronting it. It wasn't much, but it slowed them down. Still, they adapted. A plasma round struck Valeth square in the chest, sending her crashing through a ruined wall. She roared in pain, struggling to rise as automated turrets locked onto her position. "This is it," I whispered. Without thinking, I ran. I sprinted across open ground, waving my arms, shouting into the mercenaries' channels. "She's not your prize," I yelled. "I am. I know how her technology works. Take me instead." It was a lie. A desperate, stupid lie. But it worked. Their fire shifted toward me. Pain exploded across my side as a round grazed my armor, spinning me to the ground. I tasted blood. The sky blurred. I saw Valeth rise behind them, her eyes blazing. And then everything went white, ending. The choice that changed us both. I woke to silence. Not the ominous silence of waiting death, but the calm aftermath of survival. I lay beneath a shattered archway, my armor scorched, my body aching. The battlefield was still. Smoldering wreckage dotted the ruins where mercenary machines had once stood. And Valeth knelt beside me. "You are alive," she said, almost to herself. "Disappointed," I croaked. Her expression was unreadable. "They fled," she said. "Those who could." "Good," I muttered. I was running out of bad ideas. She studied me for a long time. "You could have died," she said. "For nothing." "For a choice," I corrected weakly. She closed her eyes. "My people believed mercy was a weakness," she said. "That sparing an enemy invited betrayal." "And you?" I asked. "I believed them," she admitted. "Until you." She helped me to my feet with surprising gentleness. In the days that followed, we worked together, not as guardian and intruder, but as allies. Valeth activated ancient beacons, sending signals beyond the system, not calls for war, but for contact, for understanding. When the coalition arrived, they came cautiously, guided by my testimony and Valeth's terms. There were tense negotiations, long nights of fear and hope balanced on a razor's edge. But there was no bloodshed, because once on a broken world, a being who could have killed me chose not to. And later, when she could have burned the stars in her grief and rage, she chose again. I was still nobody in many ways. No titles, no statues. But I had been part of a moment where the future could have gone very differently. And sometimes that is enough. Because the most powerful force in the universe isn't strength or fear or even survival. It's the choice to stop, the choice to spare, the choice that says, "Not this time."